So today we're continuing with the Best Life Possible devotional series. And today's title is Give More Than You Have and Grow More Than You Can Imagine. Our verse today is out of 2 Corinthians chapter 8, where it says, For they gave according to their means, as I can testify, and beyond their means of their own account. So today we want to talk about the aspect of giving in the Christian life, but we need to cover something first. And in order to have the best life possible, each step of these different things we're learning are part of being what I call reformed into the image of God. You see, originally, according to the Old Testament and the way the Hebrews thought of it, that we were made in God's image. And that's not like how he looks, because obviously he's spirit and we're flesh. But we're talking about the best of what's within him: love, compassion, forgiveness, mercy, giving. All these things are traits of God that were part of the image that we received of him. And when the fall happened, when Adam sinned and humanity took its nosedive, it wasn't long before we see the first murder. And so we know that that image that was God created us in was broken and fractured, just like everything was, because of the fall. And it wasn't even that much longer before the flood was going to happen, and God looked on man and said, the wickedness of man on earth is just great in scope. So today is about being reformed to that image. You see, I believe that after we become Christians and we're saved, that there's a process of growth, and one part of that process are these different parts of God that were once within us that become reformed and reestablished, and we become transformed into the image of who God was in terms of all those wonderful traits of his. So let me talk about the verse today, where it said they gave beyond their means. You know, right past that, the next verse, which I didn't put in the devotional, was that they were begging us with much urging and favor of participation. In other words, they were begging to participate and urging whoever it was when they were giving this money. So here's a good test for you when you want to talk about where you're at in giving. Let's say for a moment you're giving clothes, Salvation Army, to a cause, to some friend. Man or woman, you go in your closet and you'd say, oh, well, that's pretty nice. Yeah, you know, I haven't worn that in a while. I can give that to them. So let's think about that a second. You didn't choose the best of what you had. You sort of like, well, that's good enough. So two things. One's a warning in that it might be a reflection of your heart, potentially, because the things you own can end up owning you. And we have to think about, how would God give to us? Did he give us so-so? Or does God always work to give us the best of what he can in whatever regard that is in our life? So you want to see a real growth in your Christian life? That means being restored to the image of God. And it's mostly not just for our benefit. It's for the benefit of others. And let me tell you, when you start giving in such selfless ways, when you realize that you're just the caretaker of these resources that you have, it frees you really to serve humanity in a way that you haven't before. And it will affect lives, because they're going to be seeing the living Christ that's within you, that's taken up residence in you, that's now being freed back to that image, so you can fully, how would I say that? You can fully operate the way you were designed to be. Now, it's not overnight, but when you begin to give time, money, love, compassion, selflessly, you're going to start really reaching others. So maybe it's time to give more than you have and grow more than you can imagine.